Oh, yeah. Hey, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Am I talking to myself? Am I muted?
I can hear you.
Hi, Ursula. You're muted.
I can hear you.
Hello. Michael, can you hear me?
Can you hear me,
I can-
Lola?
Lola, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Are you muted?
No. Ursula, can you hear me?
No.
Yes, Michael, I can hear you. Lola, I guess
Oh.
How
just
come
can't
I
hear
can't
us.
hear you guys?
Michael, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ursula.
That's weird.
Oh, okay.
You guys can hear each other, but I can't hear you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Guess we don't have to talk today. Lola, can you hear me?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you guys at all. Maybe I have something muted. All right. Hold on. Okay. I can hear you guys, I think. Say something, please.
Hola, Lola.
That's weird. Now I can hear you. I don't know what happened.
Awesome.
Hola, Lola.
Hi, Mac. Welcome to the call. Can't hear you.
What's up?
Okay, nice. Welcome to the call. How's everyone Saturday? I mean, how's everyone Sunday?
It's going pretty good. Got a little snow here in New York, but
Oh,
it's not sticking.
How much?
It didn't stick, but you know, the other day we had like 10 inches.
Oh, it's all
So-
gone? 10 inches are gone already?
Nope.
Oh.
I mean, it's melting. It's making its way. It's melting.
It's gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, favorite color.
Yeah, it's been rough out here in San Diego. It's been about 78.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I think we're gonna be at 39 tomorrow.
Sounds like Christmas, I guess. Sounds like a hot cocoa and heavy whipped cream.
Yeah.
And chestnuts roasting over an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at our nose. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, at least our ground don't shake. So
Hey, that only happens extremely sparingly, so it's really not that bad. You got to experience one of them to know how just basic.
yeah, if I want to experience that, I go to Six Flags.
No, it's not the same. It's not that bad. Literally, you barely know it's shaking, right, Miss Ursula?
Yeah, you're right. Six Flags is safer.
Oh,
What you talking about? Earthquakes?
yeah,
It depends on how hard they are.
they're not that bad.
I mean, we haven't had bad ones. You're right.
No, we hope we don't have any bad ones. We might not be here to talk about it. So
Yeah, let's change the subject.
no. I know that some of our participants have not gotten up to their reading. I'm not going to call anyone out, but Mr. MacArthur, Mac, did
Yes.
you? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So right now we're at we read up until finding your life's work. So Mac, I'll ask you, what were some of your takeaways?
Lola,
Yes.
I'm gonna run inside to use the restroom really fast. I'll be right back.
Okay, beautiful.
All right.
Mac. Mike,
What was some of my takeaways from the reading today?
well, whenever you read it. I mean, yeah, today, I guess.
Yeah, this week. Yeah, I just finished reading actually. Thing. So it was about really about teamwork. That's the overall concept of what I just read was teamwork. So with that said, there's two takeaways I took from the reading, and that was how that section when they were talking about the guy with no legs and the blind man, how they were able to work together, and one had something that the other didn't have, and the other can provide it, and they were able to be to make a functional body, a unit. So in life, or whenever you're trying to get your business or whatever your life goes together, if you have weaknesses, find somebody or have some teamwork to overcome the weaknesses, somebody who has those strengths. There's no harm in reaching out to get help, because you're not going to be good at everything. So that was one. And the other thing I took from that was, what was it? Oh, make sure you put a plan together before you do anything, because like that part where they were talking about building the house and you have no plan, and then you're no
blueprint.
No blueprint. So what you would do, you'll end up overspending, and then you'll have a bunch of workers probably, doing redundant stuff or not
gonna get a house at that point. I mean, no one really knows what they're doing, right? So it kind of, I feel like you might get a house, but you might have two kitchens, you might
most likely you might run out of money before the house is completed. So teamwork, and always have a plan before you start doing things.
I really like those takeaways, actually. I actually, it's funny because teamwork, actually, I'm going to take some notes as we talk, because teamwork was a very viable part of the conversation, but it's ironic because I didn't really, I don't want to say I didn't pick up on that, but it wasn't a huge takeaway for me. But listening to you kind of explain it and the key points that made sense to you, I feel like I should add teamwork to my list. So I am. Teamwork.
So I'm curious to see what your takeaways are, because that means I probably missed something.
No. I mean, I think for me, I just focus on the things that I've struggled with. So the things that really caught my attention were when he talked about, I don't know if he said this or so he talked about the three outstanding powers of the world: organized effort, and how churches, schools, he said newspapers, which is a little antiquated. So for me, I put today's social media, how that they can influence a whole generation and literally change the dynamic and the shape of the whole world. And I think that's extremely relevant today. I think that social media, music, culture, I mean, I think church plays a huge role as well. I don't know if it's as there are a lot of fanatics in the world, I guess, that are super religious. School, definitely. I mean, school is everything, right? I mean, from the time we enter school as children, we're influenced by the philosophy of whoever's teaching us, right? Whether it's to be an employee, a business owner, our moral or ethical value system, how we get in trouble or don't get in trouble. So I thought that was a huge takeaway. And it says, one of the questions I had for you guys was, how do you feel these sources are using their power? So like, do you guys feel like, I personally think that none of these groups actually work together in collaboration. And like, I always think about like humanitarian things and like social issues. So like I look at poverty, right? I look at like hunger, I look at all these things and I like think to myself, if all of these resources or all of these people came together to solve world issues, we wouldn't have any problems. So I'm always confused, like what exactly are all of these organizations doing with all of the funds and the money and all the resources and power that they have? Because they're not really solving issues, they're putting band-aids on them. So, I mean, do you guys feel that these sources are using their powers adequately, or how do you think they could be more efficient in using their power? Michael, would you like
Well,
to go first?
uh,
Well, you can go first, Matthew, you're ready.
no, I mean, I was going to touch on that. Like, I think sometimes it has to do with corporate America, or actually the world, because some of these is that if they cure the world hunger, then there will be no more need for them, those organizations. It's the same thing with a drug company. It's like, I'm sure they can cure HIV with one pill, but they keep it that you have to keep taking it. You need it every month. So I think at the end of the day, the overall picture, they want to help, but they also still want to make continued profits.
So you think they want to help, but they don't want to help that much?
They want to help, but they want to still be needed. They don't want to help too much that they don't need to be needed anymore.
Yeah, but then I think, well, once you solve one issue, I mean, I think we can all agree we've all had issues, right? As soon as you solve an issue, a new issue arises, right? Something else becomes a challenge. So I'm kind of curious, like, yeah, I mean, you're never going to like solve everything, but I think that it would allow them to elevate their game. And I feel like they would make more money. I mean, they can create systems even with helping people that still allow them to create a residual income or a revenue source where people still have to come to them at some level, I think. You know, not everybody's ever going to be self-sufficient, right? There are going to be people that always need assistance and always need help. So I'm just kind of curious why they couldn't use their powers differently. Mr. Willis, do you want to comment?
Well, I would say they're not using it for good. And I base that on, if you haven't seen it yet, you should watch The Social Dilemma. So all these big corporations, newspapers, social media, they're just trying to find better ways to monetize us as human beings instead of focus on things that matter. But on the other side of it, there's people on certain platforms that are using it the way they should. So there's good and bad. The corporations, I don't think, care as much, but there's people out there that are using their social media for ways to express their feelings, ways to get their views out, ways to create change. And it's like 50-50. That's what I believe.
Miss Ursula Allen.
I didn't hear the question.
So the question is, how do you feel? So we talked about in the book, he talks about 3 outstanding powers pretty much in the world: the church, the school. He said the newspaper, but we said social media instead because I feel like the newspaper is extremely antiquated. And so the question is, how do you feel these sources are using their power? And do you think they're using it effectively to affect positive change, or do you feel like they're using it negatively?
That's a great question.
To think about
What
it?
happened?
You want a second to think about it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So also I had a question for everyone. Mr. Mack, did you do the analysis, the self-analysis?
No, I did not. I only skimmed through it.
Okay. Well, I did not do it either. The reason why is he said that you should take a whole day. I did it 10 years ago, actually. And about 6 months ago, I read my answers. I was a savage. I have some crazy answers. Like I really do. I'll share some of them with you guys. I'll send them to you in text messages. My responses were wild. Like I read my responses and I'm like, I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. I kind of miss her, you know? So we'll see. And I'm excited to go through this. I want to take a whole day to myself sometime before the new year. And I'm going to go back through the questions. And I would love to, you know, kind of, you don't have to share your personal stuff, but he kind of says like you're supposed to go through it all the time. So I'm excited to see the growth and development with that. And I'm always obsessed with the power of organized effort. He talked about saving 5%. Oh, only 5% of people save regularly and they have a system for it. and he said that he talks about the 5%. So 95% of people are completely lost. That was one of my huge takeaways, Mac. Was just how many people are lost, right? Like there's a lot of people that go to school, graduate, like, and they think, oh, I have a plan, but like that's not a plan. Like he says, like he asks people what their definite chief aim is, and they'll say like, oh, make a lot of money or be really successful. He's like, that's not a plan. That's just like some random words that you just string together. Anyone could say that. That doesn't mean anything. So I think that you know, we all want to be successful, right? Like what the
Well, what's the plan? Yeah.
yeah, right. I want to be rich. How? I don't know that. I don't know that part yet. Right? Everyone wants the best.
I just know I want to be rich. But how? I just want to be rich. Yeah.
Rich, bro. Don't
I
ask
hear
me.
it all the time.
And one of the things that I feel like I struggled with, and it was like an epiphany for me that I got from the reading. I actually did this reading last night at like 11 o'clock at night. Because I wanted to make sure I got it done, and I wasn't sure if the day would allocate the time for me, and I'm glad I did it. But one of the things that really hit me in the chest last night was when he talked about singularity of focus. I have a vision, and I have a definite chief aim. I know my exact numbers, like I know my thing, but sometimes the thing that I struggle with the hardest is concentration of focus. It's like, okay, yeah, I know what I want, right? And I can reverse engineer it. Like I know I have to start with this and this equals this, but sometimes the problem for me is that I do this project and then this project may distract me. Or as I'm doing a project, I have a lot of issues with details. Like I just outsourced to someone. I think I've told you guys this now 5 times, but he finally finished my website. I believe we're live. I gave him all the documents and info and financial stuff he needed to make me live. So I'm going to actually text him tomorrow and ask if we're live. But now I have to do the IG, the Facebook. I'm not effing with Twitter. Okay. Just, he said I don't have to, I'm not doing it. But now I'm like, okay, I want to be able to drive traffic to my social media. So now I'm like learning marketing. So sometimes a little confusing because in the last chapter, he talked about like, yeah, you have a goal, but there's multiple body parts. Like you have legs, you have arms, you have a head, right? Like you have a body, but there's different body parts, right? And you can't focus on one part and not the other. So I'm kind of excited to see him go more in depth with a definite chief aim. I love that he talked about auto-suggestion. I'm a huge advocate for auto-suggestion. And I was going to ask you guys, I mean, Miss Ursula, I'll start with you. Do you have a definite chief aim?
Do I have a definite chief aim? Well, I'm still figuring it out, but I do know that I just want to be able to help my family. I want to be able to help others that are less fortunate. I just want to be able to, you know, be an example for, you know, my family, my friends, people that I'm connected to. Not quite sure exactly how I'm gonna get there quite yet, but like I mentioned before, I am interested in dabbling in real estate and working my my network marketing business. So that's that. I know that those are the only avenues that are going to get me to where I'm trying to go.
So this is the value, is that we're gonna really, as we go through this, we're gonna develop a finite, definite chief aim for all of us, and we're going to hold each other accountable to that definite chief aim.
Got it.
Michael, do you have a definite chief aim?
I have a aim of where I want to be by 45, but I haven't really condensed it into small processes to get to that point.
Okay. Mr. Mack?
I'm sorry, repeat the question again.
Do you have a definite chief aim?
A definite. Hang on a second. Sorry. I'm actually working out on a bike while I listen.
For some reason, I was actually going to ask you that, but it's fine.
Okay. Sorry, what was the question again?
Do you have a definite chief aim?
A definite cheat game?
Oh, a definite chief aim.
Well, I can't say that I have.
So I think that one of the things I know that I've consistency has been an issue. I have an aim, but do I write it every day? Do I repeat it every day? Am I using the auto suggestion that I know that I should use? No, I'm not doing any of those things. And that's why I'm here with you wonderful people. And so he says, definite chief aim is fixed in the mind until it. So this is so sexy to me. I was like reading this last night, guys. I get so excited. I get fired up. So, okay. So he said, your definite chief aim, you fix it in your mind until it saturates your entire subconscious, until it automatically influences your physical body's action and for its attainment. So when you permeate your mind with your definite chief aim, weird things will happen. Like things that you normally wouldn't do, you're just going to do because your brain is so submerged with the vision of where you're going and it's hearing it all the time. All it can think about is that one thing. And I think that that has been one of my biggest challenges or one of my biggest opportunities in life is to refine that and become very laser focused on the definite chief aim. He says, once you have your definite chief aim, you should write it down so you can see it daily. The psychological effect is to impress this purpose in your subconscious mind so firmly that it accepts the purpose as a pattern and blueprint. So it will dominate your activities. I just love that word, dominate. You know, I think a lot of times we have like a flare up here, and I don't want to speak for everybody, okay? But we'll say 95% of people, they get excited, but then they lose the momentum, they lose the energy and the tenacity that they had to really crush the thing. And I think those are powerful words. I think we should say crush. I think we should say dominate, right? As much as we possibly can, because you want to think, you want to be number one, you want to be a champion, you want to be a winner. I love that he talks about Carnegie, he goes through Rockefeller, he goes through their specifics, right? He talked about dominating the oil, dominating steel. Like they were a master at their craft and they stayed in their lane. And that's what allowed them to dominate. You know, Anthony Robbins talks about it. He says you dominate in your field before you diversify. And a lot of people diversify before they dominate. And that's why they never dominate, because they never get enough steam or enough velocity in one area to be able to leverage their time. Because once you have enough money, you can hire people to do whatever you want to do. I don't care what it is, right? Like, let's be real. If I had $100,000, $200,000 sitting around, I probably could hire a social media team to build my damn website, to build my social media shit for me. So the things that you waste your time on when you're not necessarily at the financial zen or the financial level that you would like to be, as you dominate in your field and create more money, you can then just pay people to do everything that is not important to the vision, like Carnegie, right? Does anyone have anything to add or any questions they want to ask as we're moving through?
So based on dominant chief aim, here's a question for the group. What can we get better on in 2020 to help us clarify and visualize and focus more on what we're trying to accomplish next year? Like, what are some blind spots that maybe we can work on in 2021 to help create that obsession over your chief aim? I'll start with you, Lola.
Okay. So this is two-part for me. It's something that I've already felt like in 2020, I've already been extremely more better is not correct. I've been better at, okay? Discipline sometimes has been an issue for me, I feel like. But in 2020, I feel like I've had more discipline. I've had more wins and more levels of completion than I have in maybe the last 3 years. Obviously, I had some personal things happen in the last couple of years, but irrelevant of all of that bullshit is my discipline and really just being more singular in focus, not getting distracted. I'm like, my mind just pings off so like rapidly with random ideas all the time. It's crazy. And sometimes I easily get, it's like ping pong. You guys know the game ping pong when the little balls, like, you know, I feel like that's my brain. Like I feel my brain is like it goes crazy. Like it's just wild up there. So I want to be able to focus my thoughts, because I think that with as much power of mental capacity that I have, if I focus like a laser, and he actually talks about that, the magnifying glass and focusing the sunlight on one spot starts a fire and it burns. I think that if I focus like a laser um, on one task until I mastered it, I would be unstoppable. So.
What about Mac? So Mac, what do you have to do in 2021 to really like focus on your goal and maybe focus more on your stocks instead of your job as much? What can you do, or what can you enhance in order to accomplish that in 2021?
Pretty much what I have to do is I'm pretty organized, but sometimes I don't organize my life steps or my goals exactly. So what I'm gonna do is get a journal and just start mapping and planning out milestones and places I want to reach, and just be a little more organized and read it every week or every day and see if I'm making progress. So that would keep me on track, because there's sometimes I should be doing things to help progress, but then life gets in your way or you get a little lazy. But when you keep a journal, I think that keeps you on track because you're constantly being reminded and knowing what you need to focus on. Because sometimes you can be focused, but as time goes on, you need to refocus, because sometimes the light that you were seeing before is just sometimes just disappears, and you got to get focused back on that light and going through towards the light. So if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
Great job, Mac. Ursula, what can you focus on in 2021 to enhance your 2021 or clarify your vision more?
Well, number one that I've been focusing on the last week or so is just organization of my house, clearing the clutter, just so I could have, so I can focus more, because right now I just have way too much stuff in my house. So I'm working on organizing that and getting it out of the house so I can come home to a breath of fresh air. Or when I'm at home, I can have a breath of fresh air and not have to be consumed with the clutter that I have. So I've been working on that for the last couple weeks, and really happy with the progress I've made. I still have a ways to go, but you got to start at somewhere at some point. And so I'm happy that I've started. Um, and just discipline, focus, pretty much what everybody else has said, writing my goals down. Um, I will say for this past year, I feel like the most focused I've been, what I focused on the most so far this year has been my health and being consistent with working out. Not so much eating healthier, or I've been eating less, but not so much healthier. But I have been pretty much working out consistently. So I know if I could be that disciplined with my workouts and making sure that I keep my body healthy, I can do it. I can do the same thing in other parts of my life, as well as my finances. Financially, like the last year as well, I've been, considering that I haven't been working a 9 to 5, I feel like my finances have been in order for the most part. So moving into 2021, my goal is just to continue to work on my health, because that's priority. If I'm not in good health, all the other areas are not going to be able to be strengthened. So I got to work on my tempo first, and then, keeping my personal growth going, being a part of this mastermind has been awesome, as well as also too, I forgot to share, the last 2 months, 2.5 months, I've also been participating in a morning prayer group.
That's beautiful.
So yeah, so for the last 2.5 months, a really good friend of mine, myself, and then we're all like, we've been knowing each other since like high school. So we've known each other for over 25, 30 years. And the three of us have come together. My sister just joined like the last week as well. But we just been kind of praying for each other, encouraging each other, lifting people up. So that's another area, as well as my faith, my faith walk as well, is another area that I'm working on improving as well in 2021.
Good job, Ursula.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
Well, I'll just say for 2021, one of the issues I've had in the past is I like to start something and I go really hard for a while, but then I just fizzle out. So in 2021, what I want to do is be able to start something and continue it for a longer period of time, because I think that's the only thing that's separating me from where I want to go, is being able to do it for a sustained amount of time. Because when I do stuff, I figure out different systems, different ways to make it more effective, more accurate. It's just I don't push it long enough to get that result on the back end. So that's what I want to work on.
That's beautiful.
Back to you, Lola.
And I can
Well, that's where the teamwork comes in.
Yeah.
You get somebody to, to stay on your back about it, somebody to make sure you're staying up with your goals and hold you accountable. So when you start something, they help you kind to finish it.
Well, Mac, thanks for volunteering. Mac, you're going to be my accountability partner.
That's funny. That was funny.
I'm going back on mute.
Didn't see that coming. Anyone else want to say anything? Okay. So back to auto-suggestion. It says, no undesirable environment is strong enough to hold a man or woman who understands how to apply the principle of auto-suggestion in the creation of a definite chief aim. Such a person can throw off the shackles of poverty, destroy the most deadly disease germs, and rise from the lowest station in life to power and plenty. If that is not the infinite testament of the power of auto-suggestion, I don't know what it is. And I have used auto-suggestion very effectively in my life to create incredible results. Again, goes back to consistency. I used it and had the success that I wanted. And then, like most people, I took my foot off of the gas and the accelerator, and I just didn't attempt to pump the brake. You know what I mean? I just didn't keep going at it. So I thought that was extremely powerful to share with the group. And then he
Can I
also,
say something really quick on that?
for sure, 1000%, please do.
So this kind of goes with what Mac's talking about, as in writing his stuff in his book, and just what you're talking about with auto-suggestion. I remember Lola introduced me to auto-suggestion when I was building my network marketing business. And I remember for 1 month straight, I kept saying the same thing in my head. It was kind of like an obsession. And when I did that for a month, within 3 months, I was top 20 out of 450,000 people. So what she's saying really does work. It's just, do we actually put it into play? Do we write it down like Max says? Do we stare at it all the time? Do we recheck it all the time? Are we thinking about it all the time? Because that stuff really does work. And I just wanted to caveat to what you were saying.
Would anyone else like to throw anything else in? Okay. Another really powerful thing, it goes back to the point that I was making earlier. It says, until you select a definite chief purpose in life, you dissipate your energy and you spread your thoughts over so many subjects and in so many different directions that they lead not to power, but to indecision and weakness. With the aid of the magnifying glass, you can teach yourself a great lesson on the value of organized effort. And that really, to me, was the kick in my stomach that I was sitting here and I thought to myself, aha, I know a lot of you guys, I love aha moments are my favorite. You don't get them all the time, but when you get a good aha, it's like everything, it's life, right? So last night while I was reading, I was like, oh, damn, and I know that, like a lot of these things, some of them, or you don't know, but you've heard, and you're like, that makes sense. But then you're like, oh, that makes sense, but I'm not going to do any of the things that make sense. And I'm just doing, I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I doing that? It doesn't even make sense what I'm doing. It's illogical. I know it's illogical, and I'm still continuing to do the activity that I know is illogical. So that was huge. And then also one of the huge things that he talked about last night, like he was talking to me, right? Me and him had a personal conversation, and he was telling me last night about his friend. And the gentleman, I know, Mac, you remember this gentleman. He talks about his friend, and his friend has a meeting in his head every night before he goes to bed with all of his imaginary people, like Lincoln, and everybody's there, the whole squad. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one of the activities that I wanted us to all partake in, how many homies did he have at the table, Mac? Do you remember? find it.
Guy, it looked like it was 5 or 6. 7? I think it was 7 deep.
You think
I
it's seven?
think it was 7 too.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna cross verify that it's 7. But let's just say 7 for all intensive purposes, right? At this very moment. Actually, 7's a good number, right? Let's just go with 7. It's God's number. So 7 homies at the table. Between now and next week, I would like all of us to write down our 7 homies.
You don't have 7 homies.
You have to create the 7 homies. They're fake. Some of them are dead. Some of them could even be alive. It's really just about tapping into their energy. You want to pick the characteristics from the people that you want to embody.
Okay.
You want to find 7 people. Like I love Princess Diana. She's one of my 7 for sure. She's my 7 pick. Because we have the same birthday twinsies, but also because she's an incredible humanitarian. I thought she was elegant, classy, everything that a princess and queen should be. And so that's one of my homies. Does anyone have a homie that they would take number 1 draft pick?
Elon Musk.
Oh, that's a good homie.
That's a good one.
Damn, I'm a little jealous.
One person would be, for me, would be Michael Jordan because of how he trained so hard to get where he was on that aspect. Then
Yeah,
the next person would probably be Steve Jobs.
That's a really good one too.
Hey, Mac, on that side note of Michael Jordan, there's a book called Relentless. You should check it out.
Yeah, I heard about it before. Yeah, I haven't read it though.
It's fire, bro.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good, especially if you like sports and like Michael Jordan.
I might have to illegally download that.
I think my second round pick would be Mark Cuban.
Really?
That's another good one too.
Mm,
That's another good one.
I like Elon. I'm definitely still an Elon from you, Michael. I love Elon. Miss Ursula, is there anyone that sparks your fire?
I'd have to say Warren Buffett.
That's a really good one too. I might have to evaluate my top 7 very heavily with some of these names we're throwing around here. Like Diana might not make the cut. You know what I mean?
So, question for
One person I
Lola.
have to say, not because he's the richest person in the world, but what he did at the beginning, Bill Gates. He did what he had to do to acquire Windows.
That's
Even
true.
that meant ripping people off. No, not ripping people off, but he paid somebody. He made a deal with somebody, paid him very low, but then he made millions off of it. So he took a risk.
I mean, yeah.
He was a savage. Bill Gates is a secret savage. You look at his how he became where he is. He's a little savage. He made the savage move that sometimes you have to make to be successful.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually watching a documentary about him. He's a really impressive guy. I mean, people can say what they want about him, but his mind, I do like him a lot. He's an avid reader. I love readers, right? His reading is insatiable. I mean, it's incredible. They say like once he finds a subject, he reads like for hours and hours, and his speed is incredible. And he's working on these toilets to put in third world countries, and he worked on polio. I mean, his documentary is actually really impressive. What is it called, Michael?
It's on Netflix. I know that much, but it's really good.
Can't remember.
It's
Who is it?
It's not,
Is this
it's
Bill-
not
you said
Tiger
Bill
King,
Gates?
is it? It's not Tiger King, is it?
I don't think so.
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Sorry.
Is Tiger King that guy that's in jail?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw a thing on that. That's weird.
No, he has a documentary on Netflix. So it goes from,
Right.
how he got a little bit of fame and got a little bit of money, then it goes through his downfall, I believe. So it's an interesting story. It shows you the things to watch out for once you start getting successful.
Yeah, but he was like obsessed with some random lady and like.
Yeah, he's crazy. I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
But
There's a lot of
she might be crazy too, though. They both are a little peculiar. So.
Well, Lola, you remember Elon Musk read his whole library by the age of 6 years old?
No, these guys are effing savages.
Yeah.
I'm like, who? Well, I mean, I wonder what his parents were like, because who's read What the Blink? Is it What the Blink, Mike, or Blink? You know what I'm talking about? Malcolm Gladwell.
Blink.
Blink. Yeah, not What the Boys Are. That's a different documentary. Blink. Has anyone read Blink? Okay, so Blink is dope. He pretty much says that everyone that's special is not special, pretty much. Like, and he doesn't mean it to like take away any of their shine, but like there's a lot of sequential things that happen for these people. Like he even talks about I think it's either Apple, it's either Gates or Steve Jobs. I can't remember specifically, but how like they had access to this one computer that no one had access to, and they were able to get in 10,000 hours on this computer, which gave them a huge competitive advantage above everything else. And so he like goes through all of these different case scenarios of all these people that were like geniuses and super successful, and he catalogs exactly like everything that happened sequentially in order for them to be where they were. So like I'm really curious like whose Musk's parents were. Like were they avid readers, right? Like a lot of times like who sees a lot of fat children and then look at their parents and think, oh, that makes sense. Like their parents are fat, right?
Facts.
Sometimes because kids are eating what their parents are eating. So if your parents are out of shape and they don't take care of their body, chances are they're not teaching their children to take care of their body either. And so like the same thing happens on a mental level. You know, like I know a lot of Chaldeans, even Jews, let's just use Jews, right? Like they grow up in businesses. They learn about business since they're little kids. So when they grow up, it's easy for them to own a business. It's easy for them to raise capital because they've watched their parents do these things their whole life. Whereas someone that doesn't have that type of backing, it's harder because they don't know any of the details and they're trying to figure it out. So they're lost, right? And they're trying to find the right people, make the right connections, but they don't even know where to start. And so it's just those unique things that really create success. Even Napoleon Hill talks about that. He talks about your network and the people that you know, and how the right contacts are everything.
Here's a question. So when we come up with our 7, what's the next step? Like, why are we coming up with these 7?
The goal is to have a mental conversation with your 7 every night before you go to bed. In the book, it talks about like what the guy wants from each one of them. I'm trying to find the specific page. Mac, if you can find it before me, let me know. He talks about each person and he says like,
Sorry, I don't have the book
I'm,
in front of
I'm
me.
on it. I'm on it. He's like, Mr. Lincoln, I desire to build my own character. Mr. Washington, I desire to build my own character as well. So it's just I built everything is he has a specific thing with every.
yeah, whatever qualities he wants to extract from each person at the table, he tells them like, this is what I want from you, right? And like they're all sitting there. And he doesn't say it in this chapter, but I'm pretty sure there's even maybe further on in the book or from a different reading of mine at that round table. Some people mentally go there when they have questions. So like if they're having an issue in life, they say like they go to their round table with all the people in their head and they ask a question to their network. Like, if you were me, what would you do? And then the person answers from the perspective of like Napoleon Hill, you know, from Rockefeller, from Carnegie. Like if Carnegie's at your table, Vanderbilt, JP Morgan's at your table, right? Oh, JP Morgan might be a good one to put at my table. He's a savage. But yeah, so you talk to your table all the time. You debate with your table. And I mean, some people could say, oh, this sounds crazy, right? But like what I've realized is the people that are ultra successful are not like everybody else, right? Like they operate at a different level. And that's what allows them. They don't care. Like they have the I don't give a fuck attitude. I don't give a fuck what you think. This is just what I'm going to do. This is who I am. And if you have to think, like, if they allowed other people's limiting beliefs to influence them, they wouldn't be who they are, right? Like JP Morgan's father he shitted on him. I mean, he was like, what are you doing? I didn't train you to do any of this. Like, sell it. You're a loser. You're going to ruin our family livelihood. Like, he was smashing him mentally. You know, he wasn't supportive in any way, shape, or form. And I think that all of us know that if you really want something, a lot of times it's against the grain, it's against the norm. And you're going to get shitted on by people. They're going to talk shit. They're going to doubt you. They're going to question your sanity, your logic, if you can even do that. And that's what makes you a winner or a loser. Is like, do you hear the noise and do you like say, I can't see you. Like I'm focused on the vision. I'm focused on my definite chief aim. I know where I'm going because I've already seen it a million times in my own head. I don't need your validation. If you knew what I knew, you'd be with me, not against me. You know, it's that posture. It's that confidence that precedes you. And I think that, Michael, is where to answer your question in long short form, that is the purpose, is to have a mental army in your head of the best that have dominated, that have conquered their visions, and that they're still relevant today because of what they were able to do. And to have that army in your mind, that when people around you who are weaker than you, and I don't mean that in a derogatory manner, but that are not following their vision, they're part of the 95%, right? They don't know what they're chasing, but they just want to talk shit about everybody, right? They want to be on social media, twittering and you know, making comments, but not doing, not acting, not pulling the trigger. You have an army of people that pull the trigger in your mind. So when someone says something to you, you're like, what does Rockefeller have to say about that? You know what I'm saying? Sounds
Well,
crazy.
what would Rockefeller do?
Yeah, what would Rockefeller do?
Yeah.
What would Elon Musk do right now? You know, tap into your Elon Musk energy, you know?
Yes.
With
He
that
wouldn't
being
go,
said,
he wouldn't go to sleep. He's gonna read that next 10 chapters. Let's go.
Facts. See, that's what we're talking about, tapping into that infinite energy.
with that being said, the late and great Kobe Bryant's one of mine too.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant.
I'm not a sports person. I don't really think there's anyone in the sports world that
He's similar to Jordan with his the way he trained and he put his full dedication into the basketball. I think that's where he's getting at.
I'm really
And he mastered the basics.
7.
Yes.
He mastered the basics. That's what I love about him.
Now that's powerful. Mastering the basics is everything.
I'm going to try to stick with one athlete because another one would be Serena Williams, but I think it's redundant why I'm choosing them. So I'm going to stay away from athlete. Just one.
You're going to go here. And that's actually a brilliant strategy, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, really, if you think about it, I really want you guys not to just be like, oh, I got 7. Like, really take the time. I mean, if you choose to maybe explore some names and some people and some possibly that are aligned to your vision, but not necessarily directly to your vision. Maybe even spiritual leaders, right? Even if you're not religious, right? Like there might be religious figures, politicians, right? Like there's a vast range of people to tap into. So get creative, you know. Let's not like just have all the generic people that everyone knows. Maybe dig a little deeper and find someone.
Yeah, like have a specific reason why you choose it.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
And does anyone else have anything else they want to add before I give us our where we're going next week?
Yes.
Okay.
So Mac, it is December 20th. So by December 2nd, I will have you my vision, my goal of next year. So you can hold me accountable.
Sure thing.
January 2nd?
January 2nd, yeah.
I'll just clarify. Okay. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay.
Question: Are we sitting down next Sunday too? Right?
I mean, is it a special day next Sunday?
No. Just making sure everybody's not busy for the holidays. That's all.
Bro, I'm never too busy for you guys. In my personal opinion, I would rather the 30 to 45 minutes to be with you guys is mentally stimulating, opposed to a lot of things that I could do with my time with a lot of people, because they're not really talking about a lot of things a lot of times. You know, I'm sure it's entertaining sometimes, but I have a whole week to talk to people that are entertaining. I really just want to be present with you guys. And I feel more, I don't know if you guys have the same feeling, but every week it's getting better. Like the information is getting more exciting. We're getting deeper in, and coming up this week, you guys, we're already moving into chapter 3. So I'm extremely proud of everybody. We're closing out chapter 2. We'll be into chapter 3. I don't know how deep in we'll be. Yeah, we'll be a nice amount in. We'll be some pages. We got some inches. We got some inches in the book, okay? And next Sunday we're going to read until how lessons are learned, and that's on page 204. Miss Ursula, I will text you the beginning and end pages. Got you. And yeah, so we're just gonna go through that. I'm gonna work on my questions. The personality questions. I think before the end of the year, I'll have mine done, but I am going to mention it to you guys consistently, because I do want you to take the time to take the inventory. And I think, you know, again, nothing here is mandatory, right? Well, it's a volunteer army, but I do think that to do it before the end of the year gives you a personal inventory on yourself, right? Moving into the new year, maybe some adjustments, maybe you see some blind spots. They're great questions. Like I said, I answered them 10 years ago and my answers were unique. I literally just read these too. It's kind of funny. I was like, damn. But yeah, so finding your life's work is where we're going. I told Michael today, I'm like, yo, I can't wait to get home and read my book, bro. Like, I mean, it's getting juicy. So does anyone have anything to say before we wrap up this beautiful, wonderful call?
Yes.
Yes.
So I was saying we were talking about definite chief aim, and I was going to ask you, should we have a rough draft by January 3rd of our definite chief aim?
Why did you pick the 3rd? Is that our day that we're, oh, okay, it's our next.
That's the day that we meet. So
Yeah,
it's like 2
and I would
weeks.
hope that we have done our self-analysis by then to also help with the definite chief aim, and we'll be out of chapter 2 completely. So yeah, I mean, by January the 3rd, we can have a rough draft of our definite chief aim. And one of the things that everyone says, right? Not just Napoleon, I mean, everyone that I've ever read, all of them, you know, Brian Tracy, all the greats, oh my God, he just died. Jim Rohn, right? Like Zig Ziglar, all these guys, all the phenoms, right? They all say you should write your definite chief aim first thing in the morning and before you go to bed. All of them. So maybe once we put our definite chief aim into motion and we put it out to the universe, right? And the 3rd is such a great number, guys, number completion. Once we do that, then we start writing it every day and we hold each other accountable to writing it. And then, I mean, like I said, it's going to be a slow process, but then you want to get in the habit whenever you have a free mental moment to say it in your head, Like you want to dominate your mind with this vision. You want to dominate your thoughts with the vision. One of the things that I've been really good about is making meditation audios for myself and saying my goals through the meditation audios. I would recommend maybe you loop, you know, put on a beat or a tune that you really like. If it does have words in the back, make sure they're very positive, nothing derogatory. It only has to be uplifting. So I would say go with instrumentals, but maybe to a song you love, you know, and then loop your chief aim like 50 or 100 times. I know it sounds crazy, maybe a little redundant to you, but like you got to think when you're in the car, imagine playing your definite chief aim like you listen to music. Like I listen to Body Yada 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 in the car like 1,000 times at this point. So imagine instead of bumping someone else's lyrics and making them filthy rich, you were bumping your own words in your own head over and over again and saying the words unrelentlessly over and over again. Imagine the mental submersion. And music is great for that because it lowers the frontal lobe of concentration and allows you to get into your subconscious a lot faster. So yeah. That.
So we have chief aim by the 3rd. We have our 7 by next week, and then we have our reading.
Are we writing all this down? And you have to finish your analysis. I mean, hopefully by the 3rd. So
finish analysis. Okay, where's my notebook?
So analysis.
Lola, can you put all that in the group, please?
Yeah, we'll put it in the group chat so we have it. Yes.
Yes, please.
And Mac, I expect you to buy your journal, bro.
Actually, you know what? I got one right here, fresh.
He's already ready.
Fresh.
Analysis, chief aim, and then your 7. What can we call these people? What's a good name for the 7? Like a good power name for your group, your mental homies.
Justice Leagues or the
I'll make
what's
a bunch of
you guys watch that
comments.
TV show, The Boys?
The Avengers.
Anybody watch that TV show called The Boys? No?
Nope.
I forgot what they called it. All right, never mind. Forget it. Well, the Justice League has 7 members, main members. That's why I went with Justice League.
So it's you want the Mental Justice League?
That can work too. Mental justice. I don't know.
Why don't we all come up with our own names for our 7?
Okay, that's
Oh
fair.
yeah, so then we can share it next week.
Okay.
That'll be interesting. I'll have a good.
Michael, can you do me a favor? Can you reach out to your person
I got it.
and just give him a synopsis of the conference, because he's active. I know that he has
I'll
other foundations.
call him tomorrow.
Okay, so post the name and then also your power 7.
Power 7.
I gotta say something snazzy here. You can't just say 7. It just sounds whack. You know what I mean? All right.
Well, those are ideas. You might want to use them for next week.
Hey, I don't mind. I got lots of ideas up here.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
So analysis, definite chief aim. And that's not due to the 3rd, the chief aim, but next week. I mean, let me ask you guys. I mean, we all are going to have a little downtime this week at some point. I mean, I know we're all busy, but we're going to have a moment. So do you guys think that you can finish your analysis by next week, the 27th?
I'm going to try my very best.
I like that answer. Okay, so we're going to try our very best by the 27th to finish our analysis, and then the definite chief aim is on the 3rd. Okay, wow. With that, my beautiful, wonderful, vivacious friend.
Was this our call today?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Went by quick.
Did it? Well, yeah. I mean, we've been here for a while, haven't we?
Since 9.
Yeah. Well, not 9 for me, but So yeah. I mean, because we're we've been here for a minute now. We've been here for like about 54 minutes, actually. Doesn't seem like it, right? Well, this has been fun. And you guys know that I will see you on the Bat Channel next week. Same time, same place, same beautiful, beautiful artwork behind me. I love you guys very much. And I will post all of these phenomenal details on the GroupMe. And if you guys have anything you want to put in the GroupMe, any fun characters or funny memes, I mean, you could liven it up, right, guys? Have a little fun, woohoo. So with that being said, I adore you all very much, and I appreciate you infinitely and your energy, your wisdom, and the vision that we're all co-creating together. And would anyone like to add anything in closing and parting to the group? Okay, well, I love you guys very much, and this has been fun.
All right, have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Thank you so much,
Love you.
everyone, for your contributions. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Yes, ma'am.